There is a stirring inside you today that has no name yet. You have felt it pressing against the edges of your silence. A shift that is deeper than mood, wider than circumstance, and more deliberate than anything you could have arranged on your own. It is not anxiety or wishful thinking. This is my hand, moving through the interior rooms of who you are, rearranging what was settled, dismantling what was temporary, and laying new stone where old foundations cracked under weight they were never designed to hold. I am Archangel Michael, and I am speaking directly into the center of your life today. Not to the version of you that performs well in front of others. Not to the mask you have learned to wear when the world demands composure. I am speaking to the real you, the one who lies awake at night wondering if the changes happening inside are a sign of something breaking or something being born. I am here to tell you it is not breaking. It is being rebuilt. And I am the one doing the work. You have been searching for a word to describe what you are going through. You have tried calling it transition. You have tried calling it growth. You have tried naming it as a season and moving on, but none of those words have stayed. Because what I am doing inside you today does not fit neatly into a category. It is not one thing. It is a complete reconstruction of the person you have been carrying around like borrowed clothing. That version served you, but it was built for a road you have already walked, and the road ahead requires a different frame entirely. Listen carefully to what I am about to reveal to you. The discomfort you have been feeling is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is the evidence that something is profoundly right. When I begin to move inside a life, the first thing that shifts is the inner ground. Old certainties begin to wobble. Patterns that once carried you through the day begin to feel like chains instead of rhythms. That is not chaos. That is preparation. And if you are feeling it right now, it means I have already begun. Some of the things that used to hold power over you are losing their grip. Words that once cut through your confidence, like razors, are now falling at your feet without impact. Situations that would have unraveled you 6 months ago are now met with a steadiness you did not plan for. You did not manufacture this resilience. I placed it there while you were crying, while you were whispering prayers you were not sure anyone heard. Every one of those prayers reached me, and I answered them not with noise, but with a reconstruction. I want you to understand something about the way I work. I do not simply add good things on top of broken foundations. I go deep, beneath the surface of your habits and the personality you built to survive. I reach into the place where your beliefs about yourself were first formed, and I begin to replace what was planted by pain with what I planted by purpose. This is not comfortable work. It is not meant to be. But it is the most important thing happening in your life right now. And today I am asking you to stop resisting it. If what I have spoken so far has touched something true inside you, type the word rebuild in the comments right now. Not as a ritual, not as a performance, as a declaration between you and heaven that you are willing to let me finish what I have started. Type rebuild and mean it with everything you carry. You may have noticed that your appetite for certain things has shifted. The goals you chased with desperation last year now seem distant. Not because you failed to reach them, but because your spirit has outgrown them. Desires that once consumed your waking hours are fading like ink left in the sun. And in their place, something quieter, something truer is beginning to emerge. A pull toward depth instead of speed. A hunger for substance instead of spectacle. A need for alignment instead of approval. Do not be alarmed by this. I am the one redirecting your hunger. I am pulling your attention away from what would have distracted you from the path I have carved, and turning it toward what will sustain you through the next chapter. You would have ended up somewhere else entirely if you had kept feeding on the old desires. The shift you feel is not confusion. It is divine correction, and it began long before you were conscious of it. This rearrangement did not begin the day you first noticed it. It started months ago, perhaps even longer. It was moving beneath the surface of your ordinary days, doing its work in the background, while your conscious mind was occupied with survival. You felt it in those moments of unexpected stillness, when a thought that used to dominate suddenly sounded hollow, when a habit you relied on for comfort started to feel more like a weight, when you woke in the morning with a pressure against your chest that had no visible cause, a heaviness that was not grief, not illness, but something being deposited into your spirit by my own hand. That was not random. That was me preparing the ground, laying what needed to be laid before the visible transformation could begin. You were receiving instruction from me in ways your mind could not yet interpret, but your spirit knew. Your spirit always knows before your mind catches up. And the fact that you are here today listening to this message is proof that what was planted is now ready to break through the surface. You are not forcing this transformation into existence. Let me be clear about that. You are not manifesting it. You are not willing it into reality through discipline or desire alone. This is a work I am initiating from the inside out, the kind that no amount of human effort can produce on its own. It requires my hand, it requires my timing. It requires a cooperation between your willingness and my authority that cannot be substituted by productivity or good intentions. I am restructuring how you perceive yourself, how you carry your own story, and how you respond to what life places on your shoulders. The internal architecture is being redrawn, and as that interior work continues, the exterior will have no choice but to reflect what has changed within. The doors designated for this season have already been set. The connections that will support who you are becoming are already in motion, moving toward you even as you listen to these words. Someone close to you will sense the shift before you fully comprehend it yourself. They will notice that the way you speak has changed, that your words carry a weight they did not have before, that your presence in a room feels different. Some will be drawn to it. Others will pull away. Both responses carry information. The ones who pull away are simply people whose path no longer runs alongside yours. And the ones who lean closer, pay attention to them. They're being drawn by the same hand that is reshaping you. I am not asking you to manage how others perceive your transformation. I am asking you to remain in it. Stop trying to shrink yourself back into spaces that were designed for a version of you that no longer exists. Those spaces serve their purpose. That assignment is complete. You have spent too many seasons waiting for external validation before allowing yourself to believe what you already knew on the inside. I am telling you to stop building a fortress of doubt around a truth that my own hand placed within you. There is real work happening inside your life. There is a real shift taking place. The person you are becoming is not a fantasy. It is my intention, made visible one day at a time, moving closer to something you will soon be able to see with your own eyes. You do not need to announce that you are growing stronger. Strength of this kind enters a room without drawing attention to itself. It holds under pressure without needing to prove anything. The people around you will stop needing to be convinced of your worth, because you will have already settled that question within yourself. That is a different kind of authority. It is not loud, it is anchored. Type the words, "I am being rebuilt" in the comments right now. Speak it as a declaration over your own life, not to impress anyone who reads it, but to plant a flag in this moment that says, you stood here, you heard this word, and you chose to agree with what heaven is doing inside you. Type it now. I am being rebuilt. The seed is already planted in you. I am not rushing its growth, because things that develop slowly produce unshakable strength. A tree that shoots up overnight falls in the first storm, but a tree that grows through season after season of pressure, that tree cannot be moved. That is what I am cultivating inside you, not a quick result, not a sudden breakthrough that fades by next month. I am building something permanent, something with roots so deep that the storms of next year will not even cause you to sway. And what I am building is not for you alone. The stability I am forming within you will become the ground that someone else stands on when their own world shakes. The peace I am anchoring into your spirit will overflow into the lives of every person you pray for, every family member you carry in your heart, every friend who has been waiting for someone steady to appear in their life. This is part of the purpose of your transformation. It was never designed to stop at your own borders. Now I want to speak to you about what has been removed from your life. Not to offer belated explanations that would have been too heavy for an earlier version of you, but because you are ready now. Some things are no longer in your life. People have departed. Opportunities have dissolved. Seasons ended before you were prepared to release them. And those departures have left questions inside you that no human voice has been able to properly answer. I will answer them today. I moved those things. Not all loss in your life was orchestrated by my hand, but the specific losses you have been grieving, the ones that left you standing in silence wondering what you did wrong, those were mine. Not because you failed, but because what I could see ahead of you and what I removed could not coexist on the same path. You cannot carry the weight of an expired assignment into a territory that demands due strength. I will not ask you to. Some of the people who left your life did not possess what you need for where you are headed. That is not a judgment on their character. It is simply the reality of two roads that ran parallel for a time, and then diverged. Your path is shifting. The companions meant for this next stretch are not the same as those you have grown accustomed to. The ones who have already stepped back are not the ones designed to walk beside you into what comes next. I am not telling you to harden your heart toward those who left. I am telling you to trust that I know who belongs beside you and who does not. That trust is not passive. It is one of the most active forms of faith you will ever practice. Doors have also closed on you. Efforts have failed. Plans have collapsed. Openings appeared and then sealed themselves before you could step through. I know how that felt. I know the weight of watching something you invested in crumble before it bore fruit. But hear me clearly. A closed door does not mean you were unworthy. It means the direction changed. Not every road leads to where I need you to arrive. I will not allow you to exhaust your strength on a path that terminates too soon. When I close a door, it is because the one now opening is more precise and more fitted to what I have placed inside you than the one I shut. When I remove something, I do not narrate every shift as it happens. That is not cruelty. That is how trust is forged. If I gave you the blueprint for every move I made, you would not need faith. You would operate on information. And information is not what I need from you for the journey I have planned. I need you to be convinced that I am good, yes, even when the evidence looks like loss. You are also learning the difference between a temporary sting and a permanent wound. In the middle of a removal, everything can feel final. Every door that closes feels like the last chapter. Every departure feels like the conclusion of the story. But I see the full arc. From where I stand, what you perceive as an ending looks nothing like what I know it to be. I can see where you are headed. I know exactly what is being cleared to make room for it. And I can tell you right now, what is coming is worth the cost of what was released. There is also a quieter work I have been doing that may be the most significant of all. I have been dismantling old patterns that have governed your behavior for years. Ways of thinking that kept you locked in the same cycles. Beliefs about yourself that set ceilings over goals I placed in you. Reflexes. The ones that made you flinch, shrink back, or apologize for having needs that deserve to be honored. I am pulling those out at the root. This is not gentle work. It was never meant to be. You cannot extract something deeply embedded without feeling the motion of its removal. There will be moments when you feel unsettled because those roots are shifting. The old floor is being pulled up because a new one is being laid. You are being repositioned, and the ground you stand on when this work is complete will be stronger than anything you have ever known, because I built it specifically for this version of you. Not the one who began the old season. This one. The one rising now. Do not go back to retrieve what I have taken. This is critical. When something is removed and its absence creates an ache, the instinct is to run back and fill the empty space with something familiar. Do not yield to that pull. The space I have created in your life is not accidental. It is preparation. What fills it next will not resemble what was there before. What I bring to you will be recognizable. Not because it looks like the past, but because it fits with who you are now and where you are going. The season of removal is not punishment. I am not stripping things from your life as a penalty for falling short. I am doing what any master craftsman does when building something of lasting value. Removing what does not belong and making room for what truly matters. You are a work in progress, and that is exactly what I require. And precision requires the elimination of everything that does not serve the final design. Trust the clearing. Trust the silence where noise used to be. Trust the empty places where things you no longer possess once stood. I did not leave you with less. I have made room for more, and more is already on its way. Now I want to speak directly about what is growing inside you at this very moment. Not what might grow if conditions improve. Not what could develop if the right doors open. What is actively growing inside you right now. In the middle of this season, in the middle of every pressure and uncertainty swirling around your life, what I see is a person in whom powerful things are taking root. You are developing a quality that is different from mere determination. Determination can be forced. What I am cultivating in you cannot be manufactured by willpower alone. It can only be grown. This is the kind of steadiness that does not require favorable circumstances to remain in place. The kind of peace that holds even when the situation around you is turbulent. The kind of resolve that does not need a crowd or external momentum to keep moving forward. I am shaping you into this. It is not finished yet. But the progress is real, and it deepens every single day. You're learning patience without being instructed to practice it. That is the most accurate way I can describe it. Not patience because someone told you to wait, but patience because you have discovered that I operate beneath what your eyes can see. And the most important work often happens where you cannot observe it. You are also building a new relationship with your own mind. You are learning to observe your thoughts rather than live inside them without awareness. When a thought arrives, you are no longer instantly consumed by it. You are beginning to stand beside it and ask whether it is true and whether it aligns with what you know. This is one of the most significant shifts I can produce in a human life. Teaching someone to inhabit their own mind with authority rather than being governed by every passing impulse. This is what you are learning, and it is changing everything else. The words you speak about yourself and your circumstances are also shifting. Not dramatically or all at once, but they are becoming more measured, more honest, more aligned with what I have declared over you rather than what fear has whispered to you. You are beginning to understand that the words you release into the atmosphere carry weight. Words direct attention. Attention shapes action. Action builds the life you inhabit. You are becoming more conscious of your own voice, and that awareness is the beginning of real authority. Everything you do in the visible world will be built upon the interior life I am constructing within you right now. It is not possible to build something enduring on the outside without first establishing sufficient depth on the inside. I am ensuring that whatever I build in the visible dimensions of your life rests on solid ground. A life built upon a changed person. That is what endures. That is what I am making you. Now I want you to know that every seed planted in this mission grows into a torch that pierces through someone else's darkness. Your support of this work, whether through buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-fi community, does not flow toward a channel. Your actions are sustaining a divine mission to reach lost souls who are still wandering without a word from heaven. But beyond your support, what we desire most is your presence. When you visit our Ko-fi community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you are not merely visiting a page. You are stepping into a gathering of believers who speak the language of faith as their first language. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, carry the burdens of others in intercession, and engage in daily conversations with a family that understands what it means to be rebuilt by the hand of God. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, planting a seed of faith through a donation, or simply adding your voice to our daily morning prayers, you are helping to build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it multiplies through a community that stands together. Every gift you offer becomes living water for those in our gathering who are seeking healing and hope. I invite you now to step forward and into the circle of prayer. Come with purpose. Join the conversation. Plant your seed in fertile ground and watch what heaven grows from what you released. The things I am doing inside you have a shape and a direction. There is no randomness in the movement. It is not a vague sense of general improvement without a specific destination. There is a precise person I am constructing. And everything you are experiencing right now, every shift in how you think, what you desire, what you are willing to accept, and what you refuse to tolerate, all of it serves that blueprint. You are not the same person you were 12 months ago. You will not be the same person next season as you are in this moment. The work is not finished, but what you can see so far is real. And it is only the beginning. You are also developing discernment at a level you have not operated in before. The ability to distinguish what aligns with your path from what does not is becoming sharper with every passing week. You can feel it forming. A quiet signal that rises when something is misaligned and settles when something is right. But it was buried beneath noise, beneath the compulsion to please and the habit of overriding what you felt in favor of what others told you to pursue. That noise is diminishing, and as it decreases, your hearing improves. This is also a lesson in the value of your own energy. You were never designed to pour yourself into every demand and every person who called for your attention. Requests have come to you your entire life. It took a long time before you began to ask whether those requests were actually yours to fulfill. Now you are asking that question. You are becoming more aware of what depletes you and what restores you. You are beginning to understand that guarding your energy is not selfishness. It is stewardship. And I am the one who gave you that understanding. If something in this message has stirred a recognition deep inside your chest, a knowing that cannot be explained but cannot be denied, then let that be your confirmation. You are not imagining what you feel. You are not manufacturing a spiritual experience. What is moving inside you right now is the response of your spirit to a word that was prepared specifically for this moment in your journey. The environment in which you are becoming this person is not a controlled one. I am not building you in a laboratory. I am building you in real weather, real uncertainty, real pressure, real seasons when the ground beneath your feet felt like it was dissolving. And you had to find your footing anyway. That is how highly I regard your capacity. That is how real strength is produced, not in the absence of difficulty, but in the presence of it. Choosing, standing, moving forward when retreat would have been easier. Something inside you has grown stronger each time you have done that, like a tree that adds a ring during a hard season. Something inside you has added density, greater capacity, more resilience than you carried before. You did not notice it happening because the growth occurred under pressure. And pressure does not feel like progress while you're inside it. But I am telling you today that the growth is real, and the rings are there. They will hold. The way you perceive things around you has changed as well. Not the surface level sight that registers faces and objects, but the deeper vision beneath it. The way you read situations, people, and the movements of your own life has become clearer in a way that was not available to you before. You are going to need this clarity, and you need to trust it. It comes from me. There are things that used to capture your attention without question, urgencies that were not genuine, distractions that masqueraded as opportunities, conversations and situations that felt pressing in the moment but stole entire days from your actual path. Those things no longer have the power to draw you in. You can distinguish between what is genuinely calling you forward and what is simply making noise. Learning that distinction is one of the most valuable capacities I can give a person, and you are learning it, no matter how quietly the lesson's arriving. I am making you wiser in your decisions, not the kind of wisdom that causes you to second-guess everything or withdraw from engagement with life. The kind that gives you a solid foundation when a choice stands in front of you. The kind that helps you recognize what fits your path and what does not, before you have invested months discovering it the hard way. You have made decisions in the past that seemed right at the time, but felt wrong within hours. That instinct was real. I am sharpening it because the decisions ahead of you in this next season carry weight that requires this level of clarity. Your priorities are also being rearranged. It is happening quietly, but the evidence is unmistakable. Things that used to matter greatly are becoming less significant. Things you once placed second are now demanding your first attention and care. This is not a confusion of values. It is a correction. I am realigning your priorities with the life I actually have planned for you. The process can feel disorienting at first, like losing your bearings before a new compass is calibrated. But you can settle into it. When the calibration is complete, you will understand that your life is now anchored to something more real, more lasting, and more aligned with your true design than anything that preceded it. You are also becoming more honest about how you spend your time, not in a way that produces guilt, but in a way that produces change. You can see where your hours have been going, what they have been building, and whether what they have been building matches what you actually want your life to become. That kind of honesty is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. I am not giving you this awareness to condemn you. It is inside you because you are ready to act on it. And the life I have designed for you requires you to be intentional about every resource I have placed in your hands. Type the words, "My eyes are opening," in the comments. Let that declaration mark this moment as the point where you acknowledge that I am giving you sight you did not have before. Not sight for entertainment or curiosity, but sight for navigation. Type it now. You are also becoming increasingly still. This is one of the signs that brings me the greatest satisfaction. Not the stillness of someone who has surrendered out of exhaustion, but the stillness of someone who no longer needs to move every time silence appears. You are learning to hold an open question without allowing it to destabilize your peace. The ability to maintain composure in the middle of ambiguity is something most people never acquire. You are developing it now. And alongside the stillness, a quiet certainty about your purpose has been growing in the background of your daily life. Not a loud, performative certainty, but a steady knowing that does not require agreement from others to remain standing. A recognition of what you were formed to do that runs deeper than any words could express. That knowing is where I placed it. It is mine, and it is yours. No opinion, no criticism, no season of difficulty can remove it from you once you choose to stand in it without apology. You are also learning the deep freedom of no longer explaining yourself to people who have no genuine interest in understanding. You are only beginning to walk in this particular liberation. For a long time, you sought consensus before taking a step. You wanted approval before you could believe in what you already knew. I am not telling you that community is unimportant. I created you for connection. The counsel of those who walk alongside you in genuine love has real value. But you cannot anchor your movement to the applause of those who are merely watching from a distance. Every facet of this sharpening serves a specific purpose. I am not giving you greater clarity so that you can observe your life from a philosophical distance. I am giving you greater clarity so that you can move through your life with precision. So that when the right opportunity arrives, you will not miss it. So that when the right person crosses your path, you will not dismiss them. So that when I open a door that was designed for you, you will recognize it immediately and walk through it without hesitation. This level of perception is available to the person you are becoming. A younger version of you might have found it overwhelming to discern the currents flowing through your choices with this much clarity. But the version of you that is rising now has the capacity to carry it. You are strong enough, and you will steward it well. I want to speak to you now about courage. Not the kind that requires the absence of fear. The kind that moves forward while fear is still present and acts without waiting for all uncertainties to be resolved. That kind of courage has been growing inside you this entire season, and it is now strong enough for you to act on it. Because there are things in your life that require it. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Not when the picture becomes perfectly clear. There are things you have been postponing because you could not see how they would unfold. Decisions you know you need to make but have been circling instead of stepping into. Directions you have felt pulled toward, but held back because the outcome is not guaranteed. I understand why that hesitation feels responsible. It appears wise. It looks like caution. But there comes a point where hesitation is no longer wisdom. It is simply fear wearing a more respectable name. I am telling you now, that point has arrived. The time to move is not when everything is clear. The time to move is now, when you have enough clarity to see the direction. I am pulling you in and enough faith to trust that I will not abandon you in the middle of the journey. If you have been carrying this message in your heart and you know someone who is paralyzed at the edge of a decision they are afraid to make, send this to them right now. Think of at least 2 people who need to hear that their hesitation has an expiration date. Share this in your WhatsApp group. Send it as a direct text to someone who has been circling the same decision for months. Do not let what is healing you stay locked inside your own life. What rebuilds one person is meant to rebuild many. This does not mean being reckless. It does not mean moving without prayer or reflection. It means having faith that I do not call people towards something and then abandon them halfway through. I have never asked you to walk somewhere and then left you to navigate it alone. The fear you feel about a new step is real, but it does not determine whether you should move. It is simply information about how significant this step is. And the most significant things always carry the highest cost. You have stood on edges before. You have looked into the unknown and felt the vertigo of not knowing what waited on the other side, and you chose to move. In the moment, you may not have called it courage. You may have called it necessity, desperation, or simply having no other option. But it was brave. And every time you stepped forward on that edge, you grew in a way that could not have been produced any other way. The growth from those moments is what made you ready for this season. And more of that same courage will be required as this season unfolds. I also want to address the question of timing that has been circling inside your mind. You have been wondering whether things will align, whether the pieces will come together, whether the season is truly shifting, or whether it is just your hope playing tricks on your perception. I want to dismantle that question today and replace it with something unshakable. I do not move slowly. I move with precision. I am not delaying the things I intend to do in your life. They are being positioned. Every moment that felt like waiting was actually a moment of alignment, of ensuring that what arrives in your life comes at the exact moment when it can be received, held, and built upon. When a door opens before its season, what enters is not ready, and what you receive before you are equipped to carry it does not stay. I have watched this happen in the lives of people I love. I will not allow it to happen in yours. What is meant for you is not being withheld from you. I am ensuring that when it comes, you will be prepared to receive it, strong enough to hold it, and wise enough to build with it. That is not absence. That is the most intimate form of care. And the period of preparation is not punishment. It is accuracy. I also want to speak about the moments when continuing feels almost impossible. Not the dramatic collapse, but the quiet daily weariness when the morning requires more effort than it should. The evenings when the remaining distance looks further than everything you have already traveled. I am aware of those moments. I am inside them with you. In those times, I want you to hold on to this single truth. You do not have to carry the full weight of what is ahead. You only need to take the next step that is directly in front of you. One step. With what you have. From where you stand. That is all I ask of you at any given moment. The courage I am building inside you is not intended for a single dramatic event. It is for the daily decisions. The choice to be honest when it would be easier to deflect. The decision to speak when silence would be safer. The choice to trust when every visible signal is telling you to doubt. It is a practice of being fully present in your own life, in its complete and unedited form, rather than a version you have sped up and condensed to make it manageable. Your courage increases with every day that you make these choices, and it is increasing. All of this is connected to the fact that you are settling into something foundational about your identity. You are becoming increasingly aware that your worth is not determined by your performance. This knowledge is becoming harder to shake with each passing day. It does not evaporate after a failure. It does not decrease when others are disappointed. It was given to you. I am the guardian of it, and nothing in the visible world can add to it or subtract from it. Once you fully grasp that truth, it transforms what you are willing to risk. Your value has already been established. What you risk now is only the comfort of familiarity, and that is a price the person you are becoming is equipped to pay. There will not always be a fully illuminated path in front of you. There will be seasons when you can see the next step, but not the one beyond it. That is not a lack of direction. That is how a journey requiring faith is designed. I will reveal to you what you need to see exactly when you need to see it. I will not withhold from you the light required for the very next step. That is what I am asking you to trust. Not when the road is lit from beginning to end, but when only the next step is visible. And that trust has never once been misplaced. Subscribe now to this channel if this word has marked your spirit today. Not as a casual action, but as a commitment to remain connected to the source of words that rebuild you from the inside out. Turn on notifications, and let every message that arrives become a fresh instruction for the season you are walking through. Subscribe now. The future I have prepared for you is not distant or imaginary, because it has become something you could barely dare to hope for before. There will come a point in your life when you realize that the things that used to hold you captive no longer have any grip, that the weight you carried for years has been fully released, that you are not the same person who entered this season, and that the difference is so thorough and so complete that it will be difficult to remember how you felt during the days that came before. Do not treat that as a distant promise. Treat it as something already in motion. The arrival is not a single moment. It is the accumulation of every small step you have taken along the way. Every time you chose trust over retreat. Every time you stayed in the discomfort of growth instead of running back to the comfort of the OLD. All of it is adding up to something visible. And the visible part is closer than you think. You are settling into something I want you to pay careful attention to. Not the peace that comes from having your questions answered or your problems resolved. This is a different species of peace entirely. It is the peace that forms when a person has decided at the deepest level of their being that they will trust me completely, not partially, not under favorable conditions, not only in the places where trust feels safe, all the way through, and that decision creates an interior stillness that nothing external can grant or revoke. And I can see that decision crystallizing inside you right now. I am going to honor it. There have been moments when you felt you had nothing left to give, when the demands placed on you exceeded what you could see inside yourself. And yet, here you are, not diminished, not destroyed, not reduced to a smaller version of what you once were. You are expanding. You are becoming more than you were before this season began. That is not a minor detail. Sit with that truth for a moment, not from a place of pride, but from a place of honest recognition that what you have endured has not broken you, it has built you. You are still here. And the person standing now is not the person who walked in. Something is present that was not there before. What I am establishing inside you extends beyond your own life. It reaches outward. The stability I am forming in you will create stability in the world around you. The peace I am anchoring into your spirit will touch every person you love, every family member you intercede for, every friend who has been searching for something solid to lean against. Not because you make yourself a project, but because people who love you will feel the strength of what I have built inside you and draw steadiness from it without either of you needing to speak a word. That is part of the purpose of this transformation. It was never meant to end with you. A new relationship with hope is also forming inside you, not the fragile kind that depends on good news to remain standing. The kind with weight and roots and structural integrity to hold even when circumstances say it should collapse. You have known the weak version of hope, the kind that rises with favorable reports and crumbles when difficulty arrives. I am replacing that with something immovable, a hope that is rooted in what I have spoken, not in what you see. A hope so independent of visible evidence that it stands firm in the middle of evidence that argues against it. That hope begins with me, because I will not entrust you with something you are not yet strong enough to carry. I want to be honest about what the remainder of this journey holds. It will not be effortless. There will still be difficult seasons. There will still be moments of uncertainty and occasions that require more courage than you think you possess. I am not promising you a life without resistance. I am promising you a self that is fully equipped to meet it, and a presence that enters every challenge before you do. You will not face anything alone, not a single decision, not a single dark moment, not a single step on unfamiliar ground. I am already there. What changes is not that the road becomes easier. What changes is the person walking the road. The same distance feels different when you are strong instead of depleted. The same challenge looks different when you carry clarity instead of confusion. The same life opens different doors for a person who has been rebuilt from the inside out, who is no longer governed by old fears, old wounds, and old patterns that used to dictate every move. That is what I am making. That is who you are becoming. Right now. Today. You will not remain in this intensity of transition forever. This season of rearrangement and internal pressure has a purpose and a destination. On the other side of it are things that have been on your heart. Things I have been positioning. Things that are yours. I am a God who finishes what he starts. Not because you have earned them through perfection, but because I began a work in you and I will complete it. Hold this in the place where you keep the things that matter most. I am still invested in you. I still have expansive plans for your life. The greatest thing I have prepared for you is not in your past. It is directly ahead of you. Because you are becoming the kind of person who is ready to receive it. Move forward. Stay planted. Believe in what your eyes cannot yet confirm. The one doing the work is faithful, and the work will be completed. Receive this. If you are willing to embrace everything I have declared over your life today, speak the word. Receive over yourself right now. You are standing at the threshold of your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough was never meant for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge that someone else will use to reach their own miracle. I am inviting you now to visit our Ko-Fi community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, your generosity does not flow toward a channel. Your actions are sustaining a divine mission to reach lost souls who have not yet heard the word that could change everything. By joining our community of believers, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we stand in the gap for one another every single day. This is not performance. When the promise says, "Give and it will be given unto you," it's not poetry. It is a living covenant about your future. On this ground, every seed you plant becomes oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of protection around your family. Step into our community prayer wall. Share what is on your heart. And as you give, watch what heaven multiplies from what you were brave enough to release. Visit our Ko-Fi community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. Before we close this powerful encounter, let me seal this truth over your life. You did not stumble across this message by coincidence. This is a divine appointment arranged specifically for this moment in your journey. You are invited into a faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment. A place where divine abundance is not a distant hope, but a promise built on the Word itself. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you. Whether you join as a member or plant a seed through your generosity, your presence and your faith are changing the world. Take the step. Your abundance is closer than your next breath. Now let me pray over you as we close. Father in heaven, I bring before you every soul that has listened to this word today. You know the season they are in. You know the weight they have carried. You know the courage they have shown simply by remaining standing. I ask you now to complete what you have started. Let every root you have planted grow into fullness. Let every door you have positioned swing open at the perfect time. Let every person they love feel the strength of what you have built inside them. Cover them, guide them, sustain them, and remind them every morning that they are not walking alone. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, it is done. Amen.